What's up everyone, this is Bill with BLRTUNING. You guys know what time it is. Today's watch is the Galaxy Watch 6. Custom little face there, you may have seen it a couple times if you follow the videos. We're working on a new face though here pretty soon. Anyway, today we are over at the shop with Joe Moore, owner of TREAL Performance. We are at TREAL Performance's new location here in Vancouver, Washington. And we got something special we're working on that we want to show you guys for the Can-Am RYKER. So today we are here with TREAL Performance's 2020 Can-Am RYKER. This is the 900 Ace, 293 miles on it. And then we got Bailey over there chilling. Bailey. Hi, Bailey. Anyway, so this is the 2020 RYKER 900 Ace. We are going to be working on the clutching on it and showing you guys the TREAL Performance upgraded clutch arms and how their clutch kit works. So we'll be doing an install and show you guys everything you need to know about how their clutch kit works and what they have coming up in the future plans for the RYKER. So the reason I was showing you the mileage there, that 230 miles on the bike, if you hit up sales at TREAL Performance, if you're interested, serious buyers only obviously, this bike is going to be up for sale here real quick. And I'm sure it won't last long. So this right now is the fastest Can-Am RYKER that is naturally aspirated at the drag strip in the quarter mile. Naturally aspirated, fastest one in the world. And then obviously our bike is the second fastest one that is naturally aspirated. So you'll be able to get your hands on this the way it sits. You'll be able to talk with Joe and make arrangements to come get it. It's located here in Vancouver, Washington. Owned outright with a clean title from TREAL Performance. So I'm going to show you the clutch kit on the bench and we'll talk a little bit. So bear with us through the talking. You can skip ahead if you need to. But the first part that you're going to need to do on this is clamshell the bike. You're going to need to lift the clamshell open. It will pivot up here on on the set of the bolts, one on each side. And that's how you'll clamshell it. You'll take the rest of the bolts out. You do have to remove the hood, the front fascia, and these lower rocker panels. So I have a video I'll link below. You guys can go click on that and watch that if you don't know how to clamshell the bike. I've gone over this in a video and I have a really detailed video, and that will help keep this video a little shorter. So go watch that video real quick, get it clamshelled, get it opened up so you can get to the clutch housing. This is the cover that covers up your whole clutch assembly. So we'll need to take these bolts out and get inside of there. Okay, so you'll need to catch up with us. Go watch that video. When you come back, we'll have this clamshelled. And then we'll hop over to the bench here and show you guys what it is that we are looking at. So once you do have the bike clamshelled, this is what it'll look like. And then you'll need to remove all of these. They are usually T27 or 8mm fits on the outside. So you can just remove those with an 8mm socket. We'll need to get all those out. The ones on bottom, you can see we've already got a couple out. And these ones here. And then we'll get this cover off. It's kind of a shimmy to get it out, but it'll come out of here. You just have to make sure you have the bike up this high. Okay, it'll lift up actually quite a bit. The first part that you're going to have to do before you start taking this off is you're going to have to drop the exhaust system. There is 2 springs holding it up here and then 1 bolt right there.
And then if they already have one of our exhausts, then they can just lower it down and kind of push it off to the side.
Yeah.
And not have to pull it out all the way.
Yeah, so that'll have to come out of your way because as you can see, it comes right across the housing. We'll also need the exhaust out of the way to get this lower clutch assembly off. Okay guys, so here is the TREAL Performance. This is their race clutch. There will be links in the description for all this stuff, so you guys can go check it out. I got Joe here from TREAL Performance. He's the owner of TREAL Performance. Yeah. And he'll talk a little more. He knows quite a bit more about clutch work and that type of stuff. Yep. So he will talk about it and show you guys exactly what you're getting here and what to expect.
So this is the race clutch kit. It has the 6 weight arms that go with it, along with magnets that go in it for adjusting the RPM. So in the kit, we provide 3 weights per arm that you can add to each one. They need to make sure that the weight stays even. So if you add weight in one, then you need to add weight in all of them. So that way everything stays balanced. You could do, let's say, one weight in two of them, but then the other two you could have two weights in them, but they have to be across from each other. And that was if you were doing the race clutch. So our Wild Street kit consists of 4 weights, and again,
The arms.
Yeah, arms, okay. And then it's going to come with 3 magnets for each one. This one's going to use 2 of the stock arms, and those 2 will go across from each other. So when you have in the bike, there's 6 arms, and then the 2 are going to be stock ones are going to be across from each other. Then we also have the street kit that doesn't come with any of the magnets, but it comes with 3 of the weight arms. This one's going to go, you're going to use 3 of the stock arms and then 3 of our arms. They're going to go every other. That way they still stay balanced. So
then with this setup, these are weighing enough to make a big difference in the clutching.
Yes. So the RPM's it's gonna come up into power a lot faster, but it's still going to act like stock, to where it's manageable. The RPM's not going to be.
And that's on the street one. On the
yes.
street one.
Yeah. The Wild Street is going to come up even faster, and then eventually it's going to get to a point where it's still going to start holding your RPM. When it starts holding the RPM, you want it to not go higher than 8,200. So then that's when you're going to start adding weight. So if it was to go above 8,200, then you add magnets.
And adding the weights will have it come back down a little bit in
yes.
RPM.
Yep. So one magnet in each arm is going to be 100 RPMs.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So let's say you start with all 3 magnets in each one and you're at 7,800, then you can rather leave it there, or if you're trying to get peak power, when I was dynoing our RYKER, it made peak power at 8,200.
I see.
So therefore you would pull the 3 magnets out, or if you wanted it at 8,000.
Try to get it close to where that peak power number is.
Yep. So when it's the race clutch, it instantly, as soon as you floor it, is going to go to your peak RPM. And that's when you're going to really be using these to manage to get the RPM where it needs to be.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And so what are we installing on this bike?
So on this bike, I figured our most popular has just been our street kit. So we'll just go ahead and install
on the street kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It technically already has the street kit in it right now, but we'll just go through and
show how to install it.
Yep.
And all that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then, like I said, guys, you'll be able to get these from TREALPerformance.com. There'll be links in the description below, and so you guys will be able to go grab them. Just remember, the race kit is exactly what it sounds like. I've ridden next to this bike when it's on the race kit, and it is set up for racing.
Right.
You're going to lose gas mileage.
Yes.
You're going to haul ass, though.
Right.
You're going to haul ass right now. It is very snappy, very quick. This is the bike that on the race kit is what you were blowing me away on the track with, right?
Yes.
Like I could hear him coming. I would take off, and then that bike would take off and just blow right by me. And it was already at max RPM, while my bike on a stock clutch is slowly carrying the RPM up and up and up until it bounces itself out.
Right.
His bike's just blowing by me already.
Yeah.
At rev limit.
If you were cruising on the freeway with this clutch kit, it's probably going to be cruising down the freeway at 6,000 to 6,500.
Right. Yeah.
Depending on how fast.
So that's the main thing. I just don't want somebody to. I want to make sure everybody in the video watching understands what this is doing.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know the side-by-side world and how crazy the clutch is when you make changes. It is a drastic change. Doing a clutch kit, from what my experience, what I've seen, and probably Joe would agree, this will blow away anything else that you could do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Like if you have a stock bike and you have a clutch kit, you'll probably walk away from the guy that's not tuned, that's done an exhaust and intake.
Yes.
You'll probably walk right on away from him.
Yes.
By doing the clutch kit. Like this is everything when it comes to.
I think my 0 to 60 time, even with just the street kit, was 4/10 faster, 0 to 60.
Right, and on the drag radial on a prepped track, On the race clutch, his bike, Joe's bike, pulled the front tires off the ground.
Yeah.
Like it grabbed.
Yeah, it was like it was like right at 3 seconds or 2.9 seconds, 0 to 60. So.
Yeah. So it's massive, guys. So we just want you to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into. Clutching is everything when it comes to the CVT transmission. Like the side-by-sides, the RYKER, anything that's running these CVT transmissions is clutch work can make the difference of being slow or fast.
Right. Yep.
So, okay, we'll come over to the bike and we'll show you how to tear it apart. And then we'll show you how to install one of these kits. Remember, link below. Okay, so we'll come over to the bike, and the first thing we're going to need to do is get the belt off. So you're going to grab yourself one of these tools. There'll be links in the description below for those. And spin this inward, and it will pop the belt loose. And then we will shimmy the belt off. We'll show you kind of here in real time. So it's not super hard to do this type of maintenance on your own. And we want you to be able to do it from home. We want you to understand how the clutching works and what you're getting yourself into, and we want you to understand how to be able to do it yourself at home, so you're not paying someone an arm and a leg to do this maintenance for you. So you're just gonna roll that around, and then once it comes off of the top, do you have it in neutral right now, kind of in between gears?
Yeah.
So that's another little trick there, is put it in between first, forward and reverse. And then you'll have to shimmy that out of there. And there you go, belt is off. Okay guys, so once you got your belt off, and if you have a 2021 and newer, I'm gonna hold that up.
Yeah. So
inside here is gonna look different, okay?
Right. So it's going to have the governor cup. This is what this is.
That's this piece.
Same as this, yes. This one has spots where it has bolt holes on it, which is really, really handy. Because essentially I have this tool here that threads into that bolt hole, and then you use the nut to tighten it down. So it's going to come into here like so. And it's going to tighten down, and it's going to push this in to where it's going to take the load off of the little arm here enough to where you can take the nut and bolt out of it and pull the weight out.
And then you are going to have these little Delrin or Teflon little washers in there.
Yep.
So they're going to fall and sit right in place here, and then you want to use like a pick or something to grab them out of there.
Right.
But so for the 21 and newer models, you can do this while it is on the vehicle.
Yes.
You do not have to disassemble the entire clutch or pull the clutch bolt out,
right,
or anything like that.
Yeah. So ours is a 2020.
Right.
So,
and this is going to be the same as like my 2019.
Yes.
Right.
So we're going to pull the bolt out of it. We're going to pop the clutch off, and we're going to go take it to the bench. And we're going to pop this governor cup off to where I can get to the weights easily.
And then there'll be a link in the description for all the different tools we're referring to.
Yes.
So that clutch puller tool or that disassembly tool for the squeezing this in. What's that tool actually called? The little tool you have?
Little weight changing tool.
Weight changing tool. Okay.
Yep.
So there'll be a link to that for 21 and newer models.
Yep.
And then there'll be a link to the clutch puller bolt, right?
Yep.
That has to go in there to be able to pop this off.
Yes.
So we'll have links to everything.
If we had to change the spring in the primary to get, like, say, a higher engagement, you'd want to pop the clutch off also to do that. We'll go over that.
Yep. And then all this stuff, if you take your clutch apart, you can send it into TREAL Performance and purchase, whatever parts they have available for the clutching, and have them assemble it all for you. So essentially you're just pulling this whole thing off, send it into them, the upper one too, and have them do all the prep work and get everything ready. So all you got to do is install it when you get it back out of the box.
Yep. It's 2 hours of labor.
2 hours of labor cost.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to head over to the bench. We're going to pop this guy off. If we run into anything complicated, we'll show you guys on camera. But then we'll hop over to the bench and show you how to get this one apart. Okay, so Joe's going to snap this guy off of here. It is a 22 millimeter socket. He's going to use an impact.
With a wobbly.
And with a little wobbly, so he can get in here at an angle. And there it goes. So now that's off. So
it has the threads where it goes into the crank. and then it has the next threads on the clutch. So you have to de-thread from both of them.
Oh, that's why it pulls out and then threads again?
Yeah.
It's because it's threading into here now.
Right.
Okay.
So then, like, we're going to take our puller. And
so this is the clutch puller tool.
Right. So...
And what this is sitting, it's pressed on, so this is going to pop it off.
Yes. And this is our heavy duty one. These ones don't break or have any problems.
And then this is what size socket are you using now?
19.
A 19? Okay.
Yep.
And there it goes, right?
Yep. That was easy.
And now to pull that out, do you... Oh, because the threads are only up here.
Yep.
So it just pushed against there.
Yep.
Okay. So now we have the whole clutch assembly out, and we'll bring it over to the bench.
So we got the clutch off here. Our next thing is going to be popping the governor cup off. We had the clutch puller that we just used to pop it off. I usually will leave it on and then make sure that there is a gap here, because then we're going to use that.
So that's going to allow this to slide up, right?
Yep. And so we're going to use this 3-jaw puller.
I see. So it just sits down in those holes?
Yep.
On 3?
Yep.
Okay. And this is a hydraulic one?
Yep.
So you can see how he has the piece here lined up on the bolt. So that's what we're pushing on, and we're pulling here.
Yes. So.
And then you have your handle here.
Yep. It's pressed on, so.
So when it does pop, it's just going to be like boing, and that's it. Yeah.
So I'm actually going to pop it here on the ground here. Got it.
Got it. And nothing broke. That's what it sounds like to pop one loose. Okay, guys? So now you know. You can send this into them, purchase the parts from them, and they will do this work for you. Okay, so now we'll come over here to the bench and we'll show you guys a little bit more. Okay, so we're back here at the bench. The clutch puller bolt that we used to pry down on needs to come out. So we zip that out, and then this guy just comes right on apart. What is it?
So these are
Make sure you don't drop these.
Yeah, they're little slider pucks.
Are these also considered a wear part?
Yes.
That'll wear out over time?
Yep.
Okay.
And
so you can see those guys go right there, and they slide in and out. Because these are friction, right? They're sliding up and down.
Yep, the whole time. As the clutch moves.
So as the clutch arm comes up, you can see the little arms down in here. As the arm comes up, it spreads this apart. It does that using centrifugal force, and the higher RPM, the more it pushes them out.
Yep. So on a side-by-side, some of these, we have a 500-mile service kit where every 500 miles you pull them apart. You replace 3 of these along with the O-ring that's on them. And then the other thing that wants you to look at is these. These are also what the weight slides onto.
Oh, this does.
Yep. So,
because that's the arm. The arm slides up that, right?
Yes.
I see.
So they can wear also. So like some of them are fresh. I've had mine apart quite a bit, but I would make sure to move it to a different square flat surface. That way it's.
I see. Okay.
Wearing out good. You also want to. I've seen these break also, and then it's just wearing on the steel pin throughout it.
You guys can see what he's talking about here. So the arm, these arms here, as they move up and down, they are sliding along this. This is free to move with it, but you can rotate this to a new spot for it to sit on. Okay, so these are what has to come out in order for us to get to the arms. Remember on this kit, this is the street kit that's going in here. It's going to be just the 3 of the TREAL Performance arms. So we need an 8 mil. You said 8 mil and
Yep, and a T25 Torx.
T25 Torx, and we're going to slide that out. And remember, there is these little tiny washers that are inside. You can see them right in between there. So Joe's going to pull that apart and show us. We have one already off.
So I already have one stock one already out. These actually technically already have the 3 of ours on it, but
I see.
Again, since it's the street kit and it's just the 3, you go every other. So it's a TREAL Performance one, a stock one, a TREAL Performance one, a stock one, and another TREAL one, and then stock.
Okay.
So
and then on the wild one, you would leave a stock one and a stock one, right?
Yes,
and then you would do the opposite, so straight across from each other.
Yep.
Those would be stock. I see.
And then if it's the race kit, it's all of these arms.
Okay.
So all of our TREAL arms go in it.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one back in. There is a washer or like a little groove on here that the head of the bolt.
Oh, so it doesn't matter which side.
Yes.
So you want to look for that groove.
Yep.
Here, pull this out. Let's see that. So you guys see that little groove, and then there isn't a groove on this side. See that side? This other side is flat, right?
Yep.
So the head of the bolt sits right there.
Yep. These can be a little bit of a pain to go through because they don't stay on. So usually I will put the bolt through enough that the washer hangs onto it, and then I'll put the weight through.
And then you got to slide that other one in there.
Yep.
As you feed the bolt through it.
Yep.
And there it goes.
Yep.
And then do you really torque these down super tight, or
No.
they just need to be snug?
Yeah, like probably 5 to 8 foot-pounds.
Yeah, because it's a
maybe
very
7.
small bolt. Yeah.
Probably not 8. It's probably like 5 to 7 foot-pounds. It does have a lock washer on it, so.
Lock the nut.
Yeah.
The nut is a lock nut. Okay.
Yep.
You see, he's just tightening it up. This thing does need to be able to move.
Yep.
And with that lock nut on there, it's not going anywhere.
Yep. So that's the basic of the kit. So we're just putting the street kit back in it. So we have the 3 in there. We do have an option eventually to have a higher engagement spring. The spring is in this little cup here. Should we go over that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the governor cup, and then this is the spring cup. So we're gonna take this off because this just slides onto here. If you have it apart this far, I would check this bearing, make sure it's lubricated.
And it's a needle bearing in there,
Yep.
right?
And then that these little Delrin washers aren't worn out.
Shredded,
Yep.
yeah.
Because they're also a wear item. So then we're going to take this over here.
Okay, so you can see what Joe has set it on here. Is this just magnetic to the table?
No, it's...
Is it bolted?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So if you had a vise, then a piece of the all thread can just go into the vise. We'll make this a kit to where you guys can purchase this also, but the washer just comes on here. If it comes in a kit, it's more than likely just going to have a handle to thread this down. I've made a little quick thing to where I can use an impact to...
Oh, I see.
So just enough to where it's just barely touching. From here, we're going to use a T30 plus Torx to take these off. It's the T30 plus, not just the T30.
Yeah, so you have to have these to do this. This is called a T30 plus. So it's not going to be in your normal toolkit.
Right. So we're going to take these off. So we have all the bolts out. Now we're just going to back this.
I see. And so that's all you get down to the spring in there.
Yep.
Okay.
So this one has our high engagement spring on it that I've been using on mine. So it doesn't engage till about 28 to 3,000 RPM.
Well, normally it's like what, like 1,600, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
So you really have to give it a lot more gas before it finally, everything grabs hold
Yeah.
and engages fully.
Yeah.
I see.
So right now the way it's set up on mine is, even though it's that high, it is still pretty smooth. Like you can drive
And then like on the 2019 and 2020 models, that would also mean you'd be able to have a higher launch control RPM.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So there is a bushing in here that is supposed to slide, so you want to make sure that it moves freely and it's not stuck.
Okay.
I haven't really seen it too much in the RYKERs, but I know in the side-by-sides this whole thing will get warped and this will become stuck in there, and then you'll have all sorts of engagement problems where it's very rough. So there's also a little bit of stuff in here, so we're going to blow it out and make sure it's nice and clean. So to put it back together, put that back on, I make sure all the weights are out, because otherwise they'll get in the way when you're trying to put this back on. So pop that guy back on.
So can you leave the stock clutch and do just the spring? Is that something you can do if you wanted to order a TREAL Performance spring?
Right.
And that's what you would be ordering, is just the spring?
Yep.
And then you would have to do this part of it, but you could do that with the stock weights,
Yes.
right?
Yep. It'll still bump the RPM up, the engagement, and probably even just overall.
So a RYKER with this spring would essentially be able to blow the doors off of a RYKER that doesn't have it.
Right. So they could use all of the stock weights, and it's going to probably increase about 500 RPMs.
I see. I see.
All the way through.
Yeah, so doing this combination with the street clutch with the spring, it's going to make a huge difference on these bikes.
So there's a lip on here that you have to make sure that it's...
Oh, yeah, you can
lines
see the
up.
lip right here, guys. So that has to line up inside of there to get it to sit right.
Yeah.
So you can see how Joe's kind of stopping right there, so he can make sure that lip is lined up before he just goes reefing down on it. And again, guys, don't forget, there will be links in the description below for everything, so you can do this at home. And as soon as the spring is available, there'll be a link below for that and the tool that Joe's talking about too, to be able to do this. So that stuff will all be coming out soon. About how long you thinking, Joe? A couple months, or?
I'm hoping only a couple weeks.
Couple weeks? Cool. Okay. So you guys should expect to see a link below for that as well. Now, if they want to buy your RYKER, remember the TREAL Performance's RYKER is up for sale. Are they going to have this clutch set up on it when they buy it?
Yes.
So what is it, basically like a street clutch with a spring?
Yep.
So still manageable on the street,
Yep.
but definitely a can of whoop ass.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. So
Now we come back over here and
Yep.
start assembling. You're live.
Okay. So again, we want to check. There's this washer here is on both sides. So make sure that sometimes they'll get paper thin and get a groove in them. So make sure the washer's there. The bearing.
So what you're saying on both sides, there's one down here and up here?
Yep. So, and we have service kits available for these. That takes care of making sure that there's lubrication in the bearing. You don't want a lot, but just a little. So those are in. This is going to slide over like so. Then from here, we're going to grab our governor cup. We have the 3. There's only 3 that have the washer or the little O-ring in it. Those ones come out pretty easy. So we're going to take those.
Well, only 3 out of the arms?
Yeah, because there's technically a slider on each side, right?
Okay.
On both sides. But these ones are pressed in. These 3 are not. And they have the little O-ring in it. So you want to make sure the O-ring.
So just inspect all that while you have it apart.
Yep. So I usually will do the 2 and kind of tilt it in and then leave this side up. Grab this other one, put it in there, and then push it down. Boop.
Okay. And so when he did that, he had all the arms facing in.
Yes.
So he doesn't get stuck with any on the outside.
You're going to want to make sure that the surface of the sheaths, are nice and dry. There's no fingerprints or oil.
Okay.
On it.
And then the other thing too, when you get these arms from TREAL Performance, they are covered in oil, so that way they don't get rusty or anything, like that. They stay nice and clean. You're gonna want to make sure you wipe these down with a paper towel. Do not put oily ones in the clutch.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that these are dry when they go in there. They don't get no oil or lubricant on them.
Right.
Okay, when you install them.
Yep. And again, only enough lubricant on the bearing to just keep it looped. You don't want a lot to where it can come out and then start riding up the clutch.
Okay.
Because if the clutch gets on there, or the lube gets on the belt, it's going to start slipping and give you all sorts of problems.
Okay, guys, one thing we wanted to cover real quick, Joe was talking about, keep making sure that the bearing in there is lubed, and those little washers, the bigger washers that need replaced sometimes. Joe has a kit that is available it's on their website right now?
Yeah.
On TREAL Performance? Okay.
Yep. So it's going to come with both of those washers that are on each side of the bearing. It's going to come with the lubrication for the bearing. You don't want to use all of this. That's way too much. And then it's going to come with 3 of the sliders that pop out, along with 3 of the O-rings that's underneath those sliders.
So it's a kit to service the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if one of them looks worn out, you just need that service kit. Do it all while you're in there.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're about to head back over to the bike. Okay, so Joe's coming back over here to the bike with the clutch. Now that we have our TREAL Performance spring in there, we got our TREAL Performance street clutch kit. And we've serviced the bearing and the washers and the little sliders. So now everything is all freshened up on this whole assembly. And it's ready to be back installed on this bike.
Yep. Make sure that the taper in there is nice and dry, along with this taper if you pulled it apart that far.
All right, so maybe use some rubbing alcohol and wipe it down.
Yep.
So it's dry and not any oil on it.
Yep. You don't want it to have any oil on it to where it slips.
Because it's friction pressed.
Yes.
Right, so you wouldn't want anything that could be greasy on there.
We also have an upgraded bolt that we sell for them. Highly recommended that you get these.
And this is the bolt that's going to stay in there.
Yes.
That you're assembling it with.
Yep.
Okay, so Joe's going to put the impact with the old wobbly back in there after he's gotten it started. He's got the thread started.
Okay, and then if you have our upgraded bolt for the clutch, it gets torqued to 115 foot-pounds.
So one thing to remember, guys, we said that on the 21 models and newer, to do just the arms and the weights, it doesn't have to come off the bike. You'll have that little tool that they have on TREAL Performance, and then you'll be able to do it right on the bike. But if you're going to service, and then on 2019, 2020, you saw what we just did there. We had to pull it all apart. if you're going to service any of that other stuff in there, the spring, the little washers, greasing that little bearing in there and checking on it, it has to come off. It's not going to be able to be serviceable on the bike. You'll have to take that off and take it over to a bench and work on it.
But if your bike is new and it doesn't have a lot of miles on it to where you don't have to service it, then you can use that weight changing tool and not have to pull anything off.
Right. Okay. So Joe's going to show you the easiest way to get this belt back on, and then we're going to put that cover back on. So he just slides it around that bottom pulley. It is kind of a chore because they did the clutch housing so small down there. It's a little bit of work to get it around it. But there you go. Now remember, this bike is sitting in between forward and reverse, right?
Yeah, that way
so that way he's able to spin this, so he kind of walks the belt along that. And then once you loosen that up, this whole assembly will come out of here.
Yeah. So the belt's stuck down here, so I'm actually able to pull it off sooner. And then usually from here, I will spin it up to get the belt to then come up to where it needs to be.
Yeah, so when you're assembling this, we've had a lot of people message us and say, hey, I'm able to just free spin the belt, or the belt's sitting here with a little bit of slack. Yeah, it's not going to be super tight until you're actually ripping on the RPMs and it's squeezing the belt with the clutches.
Yeah.
So it's expected that it's a little loose and can be spun by freehand right there.
But you'll want to, again, have it in between so you can pull it off.
Yeah, so we're just manipulating the forward reverse lever so we can have it sit right in between. Basically, it's like a false neutral. This bike doesn't really have, on paper, doesn't have a real actual neutral, but that's what we're doing essentially.
Okay.
And you can see this should sit flush. This is the helix right here.
Yep.
So it should sit pretty flush to the helix. The belt should be riding just out on the edge, on the very top of this upper clutch. And that's it. It's all back together. So now we will put the cover back on. We'll bolt everything back together.
Yep.
Okay guys, well that's going to end off our video. One thing we do want to make sure we mention though again is if you have the race clutch, is it just the race clutch that needs that mostly?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have the race clutch, install it with no weights, run the bike. If it is shooting above 8,200 RPM, start adding weights.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
And again, every 4 magnets equals 100 RPMs.
Okay, so that'll give you kind of a mathematic to how it works out.
So 1 in each of the 6 arms is going to be 150 RPMs.
Okay, okay. And you want to add the weights evenly.
Yes.
In the arms, whether that's across from each other or in any sequence. They all want to be even. Don't have something off because then it'll set everything off balance.
Yep. Probably one more thing is a question that people ask all the time is what hole to put it in. It doesn't really matter. I typically will start on the tip.
Okay.
And then, you know, if you
So
have
drop
to
a
fill
magnet
this
in.
up. Yep.
Okay.
So, and then you can move to that one.
I see. Okay.
So.
All right. And then there'll be links down in the description below this video. Huge shout out to TREAL Performance for having me over here and showing me all this stuff and answering some questions I had and hopefully answering some questions that you guys had as well. Anyways, I'm Bill with BLRTUNING. That's Joe with TREAL Performance. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Bailey, say goodbye. Bailey's on guard. Anyway, and this is for sale. So hit up Joe, sales at TREAL Performance.
Or it's not for sale anymore.
We might go faster, huh?
Well, if the video's still up.
Yeah. If it's gone, it's gone. But at the time of filming, it is for sale. So hit up Joe at TREAL Performance, sales at TREAL Performance, and give him some questions about getting this thing purchased. We are in Vancouver, Washington. That's where my shop is. My shop is right up the road here from TREAL Performance, literally 5 minutes away. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.